Okay, let's do it again.
Sorry.
So hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the Particubes Twitch channel. That is our very first stream, and we're very sorry for the delay. And we had a bunch of issues, and we're still on mute.
So,
But
by the way, if you have anything, if the music is too loud, if our voices are too loud, just tell us on the chat, and we will adjust that.
yeah, we'll save our settings, and the second one will be better from the very start. So yeah, you may be aware already if you're following us, but Particubes is a platform for players, artists, and developers in which everything is made out of cubes. And it's currently in a very early stage of development, but still we recently gave access to about 200 testers, and we plan to open the gates browser as we keep fixing things, basically. Yeah. And you can register on the website if you want to get access as soon as possible.
Feel free to ask me the link. I can give it on the chat also.
And so today, for the very first stream is going to be dedicated to scripting. But of course, we'll do other streams for more focused on voxel creations with the item editor. Still, you're gonna see a little bit of it in this session. So the mission today is to create a little experience from scratch in Lua. Not Scratch. And since we don't have much publications yet with vehicles, we decided to work on a simple chopper simulation. So let's get to it.
And if you have any questions, feel free to ask also. We can also give you a tour of the current state of Particube. It's still in early stage, we still have many features to add, but it's good to see what we already have, so just don't hesitate.
Yeah, and Claire will keep an eye on the chat, so
yeah.
I'll try to keep an eye on the scripting part. So this is what you see when you launch the application, so basically a list of featured games, experiences, and so for now, it's mostly things we built, like the dev team built. Because we don't have a way to take thumbnails yet, so that's something that's coming in a week, I think. And then we'll start featuring creations from. So we have a bunch of things here, and we'll start featuring creations from testers as soon as they're able to put a thumbnail on the game. So this is the playing part. Well, you can browse for games, and this is where you build stuff. So this is the items part, where you can build items, and this is where you build your games.
Your own games.
Yeah. So let's create a new one. Let's call it Chopper Simulation. Here you can. So this is still a work in progress, but you will be able to make your game public or private. Basically means public means open source, so others will be able to read your code and duplicate it, make changes. And for now in the beta, we want all the games to be open source because the goal is to stabilize the platform, fix everything, and it's way easier if we share. So let's create it.
We have our first question asking us when Particubes will be available as Game of the Year edition.
Well,
from the coder.
Or maybe beta of the year. We'll see that. So here's the screen right after. So I just created the game, and so it creates a default script. I can add a description here. Fun chopper is chopper simulation. Done. Let's get to it. So why is it looking for interesting thing was it looking for a server is because all the games that you built are by default can host players. You can play with your friends. So even with no lines of code, from this moment, you can start sharing your games and people can join. So in future streams, we'll invite you to join while we develop the game. But this feature has been turned off while we're just polishing the while and fixing bugs basically. But yeah.
You can also see the time cycle because it's not fixed. The day is passing. So.
Yeah, the time cycle is on by default, but you can. So one thing when you start developing in Particubes, you can start by typing script commands right within the chat because the Lua sandbox is available from here. So a command like time cycle on equal false will stop the time cycle, and if I do time.current equal time.midnight, it'll be midnight in my game. Let's go back to noon where it's easier to see things.
I wish I have a command like that in real life.
Yeah, it's like start the day over. I need more time. Okay, so from the pause menu you can edit your code, and this is the default code that is generated. So I see here the map that's being used is a map called Hills, and this is what happens when the game starts. It places the player in the middle of the map, at the center of the map, above it, and spawns the player. Nothing happens in the tick loop, and there's only one action, which is the space bar with a keyboard, and it's a virtual button when you play on mobile. But let's just, for example, I could change one simple thing. If I wanna jump while in the air, I can just command this part. And there's no here. You can also write server code, but in this session I'll just get rid of that part because we won't have like a server side code running.
Lemmings is asking, will we be able to edit camera angle and movements? And I think the answer is yes.
The answer is yes, and we'll have to play with the camera. It's not like the camera is not what we have currently in the environment is not final, but we can already do a few things. And if you're we already have like a documentation reference for developers, and you can see there's a camera part, and there are a few things you can do with the camera.
And Lukoda is also asking, I searched how to change my game avatar and I didn't find where it is. Where is it?
To change the avatar, it's not ready yet. Basically, we're cheating, like the dev team is cheating because we included a few avatars in the executable, and that's the reason why I can see my avatar and Claire as one too, and all the members of the team. But the avatars are not they're not obtained from the server yet, so this will be fixed, and it will be fixed at the same time. We'll add the avatar editor, so you can just modify your body parts, arms, legs, etc. Cube by cube.
Create your own avatar in the avatar editor, and just let your imagination guide you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to it. As I was saying, so we'll start importing items, and that's how you do it. So Claire created a nice helicopter.
I created in advance to save time.
Yeah, you can show it in the item editor.
That's true. I will show you my wonderful shopper helicopter that is red, so you can see it from far. And you can see it here.
You know, I'll do like a few basic things to get started. Like in the onStart client part of my script, I'll define the ambience, so time cycle. That's what I did in the chat earlier. So by default, the time cycle will be off in this game, and the time will be noon, so that we can clearly see everything. And here I'll put my variables. And the first interesting one is the chopper. The chopper is a shape. A shape is a collection of cubes. That's what you see on the iPhone screen. And I want to use the helicopter shape. So that's all you need to do to import and create a shape instance in your game. I'll change the pivot of my shape. So the pivot is the center of your shape. Like if I set the position of my chopper, I want which part of the chopper do I want to place, and so I'll set the pivot, and I'll place it at the center, bottom center of the chopper. Alright. Then another thing I need to do is, because my chopper will need some physics simulations, so physics by default is off, and I'll turn it on. And yep, and I'll place it at the same location as the player. So chopper position. So it won't be nice because it will certainly arrive at the exact same location, but it's a good test.
We crush the avatar.
Yeah, at least we'll see it displayed. And oh yeah, one last thing is I need to add the chopper to somewhere in the scene. So map is like every item like every object in the game, a shape, an empty object, or the map can add children objects. So add child chopper, and that should be it. I think it should work like this. Let's publish.
Let's try it.
Yeah, so it's here. So there's no collision yet between the chopper and the player. Collisions. So far we focused on collisions between items and the map, but everything will be colliding if you want to. You'll be able to create groups. Like these items can collide with others.
Like for the moment, it's a ghost chopper.
Yeah. At least it collides with the map. And it's wonderful. Well, as you can see, maybe the next thing we should do is add a propeller on this chopper.
It won't work like that.
No, it won't work like that.
I never saw a helicopter or a chopper working without the
propellers. That's sure thing. So, thankfully, you also created propellers.
Yeah.
In this.
I can show it too.
Yeah, we came prepared. What's it called? I think it's just propeller. Is that it?
Yeah, like
propeller, and there's also a small one for the tail,
yeah.
And it's
the small one is here.
It's called small propeller.
Underscore propeller.
Makes sense. All right, like this, and small. Okay, and just like I did for the chopper, I'll create the propeller shape. The propeller shape. Items. Player. So by default, the pivot, I don't think I need to set the pivot because at default it's placed at the very center of the shape. So in that case, I don't need to be at the bottom center, but just at the very center of it. So it should be good enough, and I'll just add the propeller to the chopper. Saying it's
So, I have a question for me that is asking me, you don't use transparency glass for the glass of the helicopter. It's not yet available in the item editor, so I try to find a color that would fit. But I think it's a feature that we
yeah,
can
well,
use.
it will be added. Yeah, and currently we have a very old palette, color palette that we've been using for maybe 2 years since we started the project. But we definitely support transparency, and we're gonna just add new like transparent variations of. And yeah, we worked on the palette, so we'll come. So yeah, so I created the propeller and added the propeller to the chopper, and I didn't set the position, so it should not be placed correctly, but let's just see how it looks.
I will just answer Science Away question that asking if you have someone's object in your game and someone's make an update to that object, does it update live or after the game is reloaded?
We don't have it's a very important question, and we don't have a way to so far to release like different versions of an object, but of an item. But it will be possible, and we'll make sure. Like currently, yes, the answer is yes. If you use an item and the author is updates the item, then you will end up with an updated item in your game, and maybe you don't want it this way. So that's a problem.
I can create, for example, I can change the color of the chopper and make it pink.
Yeah, you can do that.
For example.
In the meantime, I'll try to place the propeller correctly, because you've seen it's been placed at the 0, 0, 0 coordinates of the chopper, and it's I don't think that's right. The good thing is you can actually try within the chat window like this. So local position, because that's the position within its parent, which is the chopper, and I think so. Yeah, I think 0. It will just try to move it up a little bit, and we can use we can make this dynamic by using the chopper height and 0. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Okay, the camera still has a few like placing issues, man. So looks all right. I know it's not perfectly centered. It's just, we'll adjust a little bit. I think I'll just do a little -0.5 to put it in the center like this. Okay, looks good. I'll use the local. What do I use? Local positions, chopper.height and -0.5. So I'll go back here. And
So, do people can bring objects? I assume you mean in games. It depends of the creator of the game, I think.
what do you mean bring objects? Like from different softwares, or like your own items in someone's game? I'm not sure.
I'm not exactly sure of the question, but you can rephrase it and ask us if you want.
And you can see the
It was not totally updated yet, but it will. I think it will be updated in
okay.
a few times.
That's cool. So I have a partially pink and red chopper. Alright, so I have a nicely placed propeller now, and well, while I'm at it, I think I'll add the tail propeller, and so we won't have to take care care of it. Tail, propeller.
So,
Okay.
transparency is available in blocks generated by code, but not in item editor. That's it?
Well, it it's more precisely it's available for the map and not for the items that are not the map, because the items use the default palette, and the default palette doesn't have like transparent blocks, but they will be added. Small propeller, so that will be for the tail. Chopper, tail propeller. Okay. Can you read the code correctly on your screen?
Is it
Big enough?
big enough to read the code properly?
Because we don't have like we can make it bigger like this. You don't see the phone. And yeah, so we tried a propeller placement before the stream, just so I kind of know the position, and I know this is going to be okay. Local.
Some of you in the
Position.
Discord saw some commit.
Yeah. Cool.
By the way, if you're not yet on the Discord, well,
Yeah, you can join.
you can join.
Nice discussion there. Cool. Now I guess the next step would be, I don't know, like we can make the propeller turn, but yeah, let's do that. What do you say want to do next? What? Is there something funny?
Oh,
Yep.
no, it's because someone saw a private joke on the Discord that we
Oh
made.
yeah. What can we do next? Is maybe, I don't know if we take care of the rotation for the propeller, or maybe we can just get inside. I don't know. Let's try the rotation first. We'll do something simple, like in the tick here. So tick is a function that is called in the loop about 30 times per second, and you receive the delta time that's like elapsed between the since the last tick, basically. So what we can do is we can have like there's one thing with rotations. It's not currently rotations are just number 3 vectors, just Euler rotations, like on X, Y, Z, and we're in the process of making it its own type, its own like rotation type, and fixing a bunch of errors. And in the meantime, I'll just do something that is safer and store the rotation in a variable like 0 here. And what I'll do is just update the value in the tick equal plus delta time multiplied by I don't know, I'll put something, but this would be like this 2.0 would be the speed of the rotation speed, so I guess we'll put that in variables in a variable afterwards. And so propeller dot local rotation equal 0. So all the rotation is on the y axis. This, okay.
Y-axis means like that.
Means like that. Yes. Call also the yaw rotation. So that should be enough, I guess. Just like double reading. It's there's a rotation. Can definitely see it. Starts looking like a proper chopper now.
Yeah.
Let's do the same for the tail. The tail is not rotating along the same axis, so I'll just rotate around X. Right, so like that. Propeller rotation, and that's the tail one. Tail propeller. Alright, like this. And it works. Round of applause for okay.
So how do we start this engine?
Well, first of all, you can just like make it just turn faster like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too fast. I know. Anyway, so it's a bit stressing, so I'll put it back to this that speed. Let's take control of the chopper now, I guess.
Yeah. We'll try to
just
drive it.
So what we'll do is there is one thing. So there's action 1 here, and in the game we have a limited amount of actions because we want all games to run great on mobile and desktop. So we decided to have this restriction, like not too much actions, because otherwise you end up with so many buttons on a touchscreen. It's impossible to play. So action 1 is a space bar on when you have a keyboard, and it's also a virtual button on mobile. And you also have action 2, which is by default left click when you're playing on desktop. So what we'll do is, let's say I'm controlling the player. What I want is to get inside the chopper when I left click. When I touch the chopper, left click on the chopper, and I'm not too far from it. So how this is done is by casting a ray and getting an impact from this ray, and that's how it works. So I can cast a ray from the camera or from the player. There are different options, but so far the camera has a nice thing. It can filter objects. So basically what this does is it casts a ray, and it only checks collisions with the chopper, so anything else that's impacted by the ray will just return nil. So I'll check the impact. I'll show you how it works. If the impact isn't nil, it means that I touched the chopper. The eye, like that. Impact is nil. I touch the chopper. Publish.
I just let you do the.
So if I target the chopper and click, then I see the log. Well, if I click anywhere else, there's nothing. Okay.
We have a question. Did code modifications riddle the whole world? Can you update in real time your environment using your programming environment?
What's in here, for example? I guess the answer is yes. Because for example, I can create a function. Let's say here, I'll create functions, and let's say I do a function called test that prints I'm a test, right? Then if I do this, then from within the chat input, I can call test, and it will call my function. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah.
Um,
I will tell you. You can tell us, Copernicus. You can tell us.
all right, so basically now I know that I have an impact, and there's one thing that's interesting with the impact is it gives you a distance, like what distance, the ray distance before between the starting origin of the ray and the impact, and so you can print the impact distance like this, and we'll give you an idea of the distance, and we'll do something like if maybe I won't get the right value at first, but let's just put a condition here. If the distance is less than the distance should be in blocks if it's been fixed today. So let's say if the distance is less than 5 blocks, meaning map blocks, they're the reference for all the numbers. So if the distance is less than 5, then control the chopper. We'll add the interesting code here then. So we'll print the distance, and we should see a control the chopper log when we should take control. Okay.
So yeah, the question was, do the publish button reset the whole world or not?
Oh yeah, if you have like other friends connected, then they will get the changes, and that's the reason why we have this loading part every time, because basically it needs to be updated for other players too. Yeah. So here I can test it. I click on the chopper and it says 15 blocks. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not perfect because, well, I'm not sure it's. Anyway, it seems to be okay to say like if I'm at less than 15 blocks, then I want to take control of the chopper. Maybe, yeah, even less than 20. Okay, let's make it large. It's not. We still have issues around those edges. Well, it's not really the point of the session here. So okay, control the chopper. So what we'll do is create a variable in the onStart function. That's basically we need to keep track what are we controlling, and by default I would say so we're controlling the player. By default that's what we're controlling, and we want to change this and take control. So this is just like an arbitrary name. I could name it anything, but I'll create, so I'll get rid of that, and take control of what of or something. Oh, okay, and if so, first of all, if the something is in the player, I'll just add a little security here. And if the something is in the chopper, then it's not okay to take control. It's not mandatory, but just in case, you can control this. I don't know. Maybe if I try to control the map or something. And return, so they will exit the function. Exits. Here. So okay. So and then another thing is if the something is already controlled, it's the same thing. Then there's nothing to do because we're already controlling it. So already controlling this. So same thing. Return. Okay, so now we're in a case that where if I can take control of, like, I'm controlling the player and I want to take control of the chopper, then I should reach this point. So what I'll do is, if control, I'll take care of what I need to do on what's currently being controlled. So if it's the player, then so it's just a very simple trick, but I'll just hide the player. It's very simple, like way to get inside a vehicle. I just hide the player and okay, and that's it. Here, maybe I should see what I need to for later. That's for later. Handle leaving the chopper here. Okay, so now I'm ready to change what's being controlled. So I'm controlling that something. And the main thing I want to do is I'll do it reversed, but this is when I take. So this is when I start controlling the player, but that's not the first thing we're going to test. And this is when I'm now controlling the chopper. Then I want to change how I control the camera. That may be the first thing. So camera will be in free mode, because by default the camera is in third person mode, so that's kind of a automatic thing that you set the camera in free mode and we'll just follow the player, but you can set your very own cameras.
And so we have another question. Can my friend modify the code with me at the same time, like a collaborative programming environment, or only the session owner?
That's one of our dreams, and we'll get to. Well, I mean, it's been a huge pain, honestly, to implement this editor that's our own thing. So we can basically, if now we want to display a second cursor to edit the code in cooperation, it's going to be possible, but it's not at the top of our priorities. I mean, we want to get like multiplayer back first, and but then it's on our list. That's what I can say. Camera local position equal. I'll just so basically what it does, putting the camera this. Well, I'm not even sure. Well, let's just make it free, and when I control the player, I want to put the camera back in the third person mode. Third person. This is all in the documentation. Oh yeah, there's just one little thing. This, okay, don't pay attention to this. This should be a. This shouldn't be a dot, but it's currently broken. In the documentation, it says you need to do this, and it's actually still this in this the version I'm currently running. Anyway, it's not super important. So now I have a take control function that changes the control variable. So I'll go back to where I was clicking on the chopper. That would be here, and I'll make it simple. Take control, chopper. Okay. This is cool. I'll publish. And basically what it should do now, it should change the camera. So I'll click on the chopper, and the camera is now... Oh, I need to be close enough. Okay. And so the player is now hidden, because that's why I indicated. And the camera is not moving anymore. Because since it's in free mode, I need to move it myself. Okay, so...
Is there an API? API also for AI, like AlphaStar implementation or something like that? A-Star, sorry, not AlphaStar. For very custom things, what
our plan is to be able to open like arbitrary streams of data with the outside, and so that would mean like infinite possibilities. So you could just delegate some calculations to a like external service, like could be implemented in any language. Yeah, where just like cooperation in scripting, it's something we really want to have, but it's yeah, it's not in we don't consider this to be in the foundation parts of the project. So it will come later. Yeah. But yeah, no embedded API for AI so far.
Okay.
So yeah, control. So yeah, I'll introduce you to another thing. It's in the docs as well. I'll go in the docs. In client, you see you can actually take control over pad. Yeah, you have like a analog pad. That's what's being used when moving the camera, and the directional pad. That would be the directional keys on a keyboard, and there's a directional pad for this on the touchscreen. And so I can just take. So these are the default functions, default implementation. So it's not visible in the script because we can hide things that are implemented by default, but you can take this and just implement it differently. So this is a default implementation. So normally if I publish this, I shouldn't. Oh wow. I don't know what's happening. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure that's quite the default implementation. I think the doc needs to be updated here. Oh yeah, that's the thing about rotations. I do have the. I'll bring the correct default implementation. That is. I have it here. I took it like directly from the code, so it's just that the docs are on up to date. But this is actually the default one, and that should work. Okay, and all right, and so we'll see how this works. So basically, directional pad it takes a X and Y, and it sets the motion of the player. Forward direction, so right, it gives you the motion, and the analog pad rotates the player. So basically, now I have two use cases. There's one where I'm controlling the chopper, and another one where I'm controlling the player. So I'll add a condition here: if controlled equal player, then I'm a little bit tired today. And else, well, there's only two. Well, I can control this chopper, and I will just move this. Okay, and same thing in the other function. If control is the player, then I change the motion. Otherwise, I still want to keep these values, but I don't want to update anything right away in this case, because the chopper is going to be like, it won't be direct changes. If you use the directional keys, it will gradually change, like update the speed or the orientation of the chopper. So that's the reason why I'm not putting here.
Okay.
But I'll do something. I'll initiate
And
these values here to 0, just to get an initial value. Yep.
Copernicus again is asking us, is there a limit for the script, like for Pico 8? It seemed so powerful that it could be possible to create a share libraries and share libraries.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just laughing because there's so much to do for the dev team. But yeah, basically it will be there's a section actually. Oh, I'm not showing the right thing here. I just realized now. Just coding. If I from the phone, I can show you here. We have different sections like the games you create, the maps. It's still coming soon. The items and the code. I don't know why I put a emoji like this, but and so here you'll be able to. The goal for this section, it's the intention here is to be able to develop like code snippets that others will be able to import. Just to like I do a nice function for like a very simple AI for a monster, and then I can put the script here. It will be kind of a library. Okay, I'll go back to this. So here I'm in the analog pad implementation. So if the player is control, then it remains the same basically. And yep. So what's interesting now is what I want to do here is my chopper, and I'll use so I'm updating these values. What comes next? Well, I'll come back to the direction. I think here I'll want to do. I want to move. Maybe it's something to do with the camera here. Change how the camera behaves when.
Like for following us when we flies.
Yeah, a bit different. Like you want to rotate around the chopper, maybe with the analog pad while your chopper keeps going in straight line. So we'll see. It's better to work on the movements first, I guess. So how can we make it fly? I think on the space bar would be nice. So here I'll put this kind of this same type of condition. If control is the player, then I want to jump because I'm controlling the player, and if I'm controlling the chopper here, and otherwise I want to fly. Okay, so what I'll do is chopper dot acceleration dot y equal minus. Oh, acceleration is like a constant force, like gravity, and basically we want the chopper accelerations to compensate gravity and plus a little bit more to like go up. So it will be minus config. This gravity is defined here. Constant accelerations dot y, and we'll do a bit more than just compensating. So here, and okay, and also I need to stop doing this when I release the key. And so action 1, you can also implement what's happening when you release the key, like this. Action 1 release. Again, same as if I'm controlling the chopper, then I want to basically stop doing this. But if I put 0 here, well, we'll see what happens. But if I put 0 here, then I'll just fall like a big rock.
Okay. We'll try.
Let's try that. All right, let's do it. So I'm controlling the chopper. So the camera is not following, but now I'm pressing the spacebar and the chopper is going up. And if I release, it falls like a rock. Yeah, like this. Okay. Now I see why it's important to do something with the camera, otherwise it's kind of hard to control it while it's
it's away.
while it's away from our
our
side. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
you
we're
are.
not ready for the
But still,
helicopter driving license.
yeah. But still, I'll do something here. Make it just a little less than compensating, like let's say this, compensating gravity, so it will fall slower. It's okay. So I guess now it's time for the camera to follow the chopper, I guess. Analog pad, where did I put it? Here. That's here. So what I'll do is I'll keep values for when I'm in free mode. Well, it's not super organized, but yeah, camera yaw. So again, yaw is rotating around the y-axis.
It's not yelling yaw.
Yeah. Yaw like this, and pitch. Pitch is rotating around the x axis and means like looking down or up, and
the vertical axis.
yeah, like the plane will be rotating around yaw to go left, right, and pitch to go up, down.
Okay.
Basically. And so where is my analog? Yeah, here I'll update this camera yaw and pitch, and I'll update the value using the delta. So I'll need to make it not too hard. Pitch plus dy. Okay.
I still show my wonderful helicopter because I'm really proud of it. On the
It's nice and
editor.
pink. It
Yeah.
looks nice and pink.
I like pink. It's it
the
fits a chopper.
pitch would be like this. Okay. And now I guess I'll work on. I took a few notes on the side because it's hard, like while speaking, to remember everything that needs to be done. But I'll just work on the refresh camera function, and I'll put everything that needs to be done when the camera is in free mode. Function refresh camera, if control equal chopper. I'll use this a lot. And so if the control is a chopper, basically it means that it should be in free mode. So first thing, I'll position the camera. It will be placed. I'm putting the camera exactly where the control thing is. Then I'm setting the rotation with my camera pitch, and camera yaw, and 0. The last one is the roll. If you want to roll the camera, it's the last, like around the z axis. Camera rotation, and camera pitch, camera roll. Alright, then I'll change so I'm putting the camera where the chopper is, then rotating the camera with my pitch and yaw, and then I'll move, so the camera has its vectors, like direction vectors have been updated since I changed the rotation. So I can now change the position and move along the backward direction. So backward on that distance. So basically we'll place the camera, rotate the camera, and move the camera back along its backward direction. And I'll also put the camera a little bit. So I don't want to look at the what's under my chopper. I want to see it from above a little bit. So and since the position, like the position of the the pivot that we saw at the very beginning, it's at the bottom center. I want to move the camera up a little bit.
Okay.
So I'll go position.
To see the chopper a little bit from the top.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So control dot I like this. Okay. So this should place the camera better. And I need to call this refresh camera function. I need to call it here. It will be refreshed. We're refreshing the position at every loop. Refresh. No mistakes should be good. Yeah, it's good.
Let's see
So
if
now-
it works.
Let's see. So now if I click on the chopper, I see the camera is following when I like the analog pad function is triggered, it changes the pitch, and so this is the yaw angle and this is the pitch. Right?
Mm.
So now I can move the camera around.
Yay!
It's cool. And I can move up like this, and the
Oh,
camera
that's a good
will
start.
follow. Yeah. And if I release, I'll slowly descend, maybe. Yeah, it's very slow because I'm still compensating the gravity, so I won't fall
Yeah.
quick. I'm still
It's
moving
a
up, maybe.
Quick,
Not
yeah.
even sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
no,
good.
I'm going down. I'm going
You're
going
going
down
down. And it's like a smooth landing.
now. Yeah, very smooth landing. Okay,
And
cool.
will you be able? It's a question from Science Away. Will you be able to remix players' objects to add onto or change them as a separate thing?
Mhm.
If so, will you be able to mark whether an object can be remixed or not?
I think it will work the same as open source code. Maybe you'll be able to do like open source items, and meaning others can duplicate, but it will be up to the creators, I
To
think.
choose.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, if they're okay with this or not. All right, so we can do next is maybe turning the like turn left right while controlling the chopper. And see, so I had two variables, these ones, d-pad X and d-pad Y. That indicates like basically when you press the right key, you will have d-pad X value will be 1, or if you press the left key, d-pad X value will be -1.
Mm.
And this is all set in the, yeah, we have a little selection bug, but yeah, this is all set here. When you the
Okay.
function is triggered, it sets the value of d-pad X and d-pad Y, and basically we want to use these values in the tick to keep turning while you keep pressing the key.
Mm.
So tick, yeah, alright. So if control chopper, I think you got this this test. Chopper. Again, I'll use variables here. I'll update the chopper yaw. Will be d-pad X. Always multiply with the delta time here. It just makes it consistent because you're not sure between ticks. It may be like 16 milliseconds or maybe 17, or it's not very it's not always the same value. So make it you're multiplying by the delta makes it regular, like the movement.
Okay.
Anyways, I'll create a chopper yaw variable, camera yaw, chopper yaw. Because there are different things. So you can turn the camera along around the y-axis while yeah, rotating the chopper while keeping the camera yaw the same.
Okay.
And I guess we'll need a chopper pitch too. Chopper pitch. Sounds good. Okay, and chopper pitch. I can do both at the same time. Chopper pitch. Here it's dy. dt. Okay. I guess I'll need little limits here. To put limits. Otherwise you could keep like pitching and make it roll. This is not very accurate. And chopper. That's the last part. Chopper rotation equal chopper pitch and chopper yaw. Like this. Let's see how it works. Okay, so I'll get inside, and now I can turn like this, or like this. And since there are no limits, I can do crazy things like
do a barrel roll.
These. Right. Physics.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Okay. So I'll add I'll add some limits to this. So again, I'll just go a little bit faster because I already have like some limits for the pitch and yaw. This is here. So basically, yeah, I'll put better values because we already did some tests before the streams, but it's not the interesting part. And this is the limit. It basically just looks like if the pitch is more than 0.7 radians, then it will set it to 0.7, and if it's less than minus 0.7, it will force the value, so you won't be able to go past 0.7 minus 0.7. So that's just how the limit is done on the pitch.
So you will not be able to do the roll again with that?
Yeah, I won't be able to roll, so you've seen it once and that'll be all. Cool, and now what I want to do is, well, now that the rotation is set, so to do put limits is done. So now that the chopper is properly rotated, I want to move around. And so basically if the pitch is, I'll just copy this, if the pitch is like far enough from 0 in like in one like looking down or looking up,
Okay.
then it means the motion needs to be impacted. Like if I'm looking down, I want to move forward, and if I'm looking up, I want to move backward.
Okay.
So chopper dot motion equal chopper forward. So that's the forward direction. Multiplied, and I have some magic values, and you get the right values by testing basically, but it will. Yeah, this has been tested by the team, and they're great values. And otherwise, if you're not, the chopper is not pitched, then you want to set the motion to nothing. Well, you want it to stop moving.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, I have there's an error line
Might be a problem.
121. We have like a few lines here.
Okay, you can see the
Yeah,
line
yeah, I
that's-
can see where the problem is. Oh yeah, that's the end. Nothing else. Yeah. So now if I'm moving like this, and if I'm pitch, I'm moving forward. I can still move the camera independently from the chopper rotation.
Oh, that's
So
starting
moving.
to look more and more like
Yeah.
a real chopper.
Yeah. One thing I think that could be interesting at this point is being able to leave the helicopter.
Oh,
I'll put it
like an emergency.
yeah, like emergency exit, and I'll put it on the right click is available, so let's use it. Like plan action 3 is the right click, and it's another button on
Okay.
mobile. And I'll just it's very simple actually. It's just take back control of the player. Take control of the player. Okay. And
We have a small question. Have player and camera variables been set by the minigame?
mhm.
Based on the example, I suppose the capital variables were created or set by the environment, and lowercase variable by Adrien, by you.
The lowercase, yeah, that's the rule we decided. That's the rule we followed while implementing the environment. Is like everything that starts with the uppercase character means it has to be documented. So if you see like acceleration, it starts with a capital A. It means you can find it in the docs, and you can use for your custom like your variables and functions. You will use lowercase letters at start. I mean, you can still use capital letters like in take control, but not for the first the initial one. So take control player. We'll see if everything is in place for this. Take control. Where is it? Here. So here we've seen if the control. Yeah. So we should go back to third person. In here, but we should also. The player is still hidden, so we need to show the player, and the player hasn't been moving. Actually, you can see it, but it's still where you started to control the chopper. So to make it look right, you can put it. Oh, I need to do it before I change, because then control becomes the player here.
Oh, yeah.
So if we'll do it like this. If there's something that the thing we want to control, but we're still not controlling it here, because this is where we change what's being controlled.
Oh yeah, okay.
If something equal player, so it means I want to control the player now. Then I want to change the position to the what's being to the chopper like this. I could have used chopper here because we only have 2 items, but if I do it right, it will be very easy to add new other vehicles in the script,
yeah.
and it's just like another thing to control. So player position.
Like we could build a car and put it in the map and control
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for
Okay.
example. Well, it's kind of the car is maybe not the best example because since the map is like a bunch of cubes and those
Yeah.
very, but while it's still, I guess we can do something about it. Player, and I'll make the player jump like it's an emergency exit. For real, like velocity dot y, so vertical velocity 40. I know by experience 40 is good enough.
It will be exposed.
Yeah. So like this, and I go back to third person, and the player's not in anymore, and that all happens on action 3, which is right click on a desktop computer. So let's see. So left click to get inside.
Okay.
I move around, and now right click. Yeah. And here you go. So
Bye bye.
there's no
helicopter.
mechanism to like. Maybe I should like make it fall or something because it will keep going up. But at least I can get out. What else? What else? I don't know. Take control. What else there is? I can see in our notes. So yeah, it already looks like. Yeah, I'll just hit it again. But it already looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a real, real simulation of
Yeah.
helicopter piloting, driving.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I should maybe have a way to go down. Well, because otherwise I have to wait for gravity to do its work. But there's normally a way to control this.
And so the map will be in the features menu when for the game, I guess.
Yeah, we'll feature it, but the current version, like if you're a beta tester currently, it's not possible for. We fixed a few things that makes it possible now to implement this. So if you, I think we published the 0.0.22, I think, and so you'll have to wait the 23, the next version, to be able to play this game without issues. So yeah, let's just do a little bit of polishing. Like we should have something like propeller speed, like, and the propeller should turn faster as you start controlling the helicopter, and it should be 0 by default. Yeah, we're going to change this. Yeah, that's in the tick function. Where is it? Okay, that's here where I use the like that magic value. I can use propeller speed, so that it'll be 0 by default, and I can change it to something else when I start controlling the helicopter. And I'll just pick some code that I had in my notes. Remember. Propeller speed. Remember where I changed this. I can do something simple like in the tick function, because there are two ways to look at it. I could just change the speed when I take control of the chopper. Here, for example, I could do something like propeller speed equal 5. Alright. And when I take control of the player, I want the propellers to go back to 0, like this. Okay, if I do this, you'll see like it's not moving, and when I get inside, it will start rotating. So it's a
We
little
start
more,
the engine right.
yeah, it's more lifelike. Yeah, I can still get out. Like, oh yeah. And it stops rotating when I, it's okay. And if I go back in, oh, start the animation again. Yeah.
Okay.
And I could do something like a little bit better, like something that accelerates. As I could like get in and it start rotating faster and faster.
Yeah, as you go down or go up.
Yeah, or just I start the engine and then it will move. It will decrease the speed if I leave the helicopter. Just like not, it cannot like stop right away. and so that could be done in a different place. So instead of setting it here, at the moment I take control, like going from 0 to 5 and from 5 to 0. I could do it in the tick. Like here, I'm controlling the chopper, and I could do something like if propeller's speed is less than say like 15. I took control of it, but the speed is still less than 15. Then I want to gradually increase the speed, and it will be something, I don't know, like 2, and I'll again use the delta that's here just to make it regular. That's all it's here for. Propeller speed, and in the other case, like here I'm controlling the chopper, and otherwise else if I'm controlling the player, then that's the opposite I want to do, because I want the propeller to stop. So if it's more than 0, then then I want to decrease the speed. So propeller speed it will be something like, yeah, very similar to this. Maybe we can decrease the speed faster than we increase it. I don't know. It's up to you. So that will decrease the speed. If the speed is more than 0, it will decrease it.
Okay.
So yeah, it has to be a minus here. And yeah, and that's I don't know where I do apply the propeller rotation. But yeah, that's the place. And I could stop it, so if it reaches, like if it becomes less than 0, maybe I could it could start rotating in the inverse, like.
Oh.
So I'll just backward. So I'll just a little test, like if it goes below 0, then I want to force the speed to 0. Like 0 like this. That should do the trick. Here, so now I get in, and it starts rotating faster and faster, like this.
Oh, okay.
And if I go out, it will just
decrease. Okay.
nicely slow down and stop. And if I go back in, it will start.
That's more and more realistic.
Yeah, it looks like we're not far from GTA at this point. That's pretty cool.
We have a technical question.
Yeah.
Is the code checked locally or sent to the server waiting for semantic validation?
It is. Well, when you press publish, it's sent to the server that's running for you. It's like your own little server for you and your friends, and the server checks the code first. So if there's anything wrong in the code, it will just return the error, and it won't be updated in any for anyone. We still have a bunch of things to, like, things that we don't correctly check, like for like infinite loops and things like this. There are still situations where you can get stuck. Yeah, but we're following that path. Basically, it sends the server checks everything, and your script won't be saved with errors currently.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe one last thing, because there's a bonus at the end. I'm not sure we're gonna show this in the script. I'll show you a few other scripts, maybe a few other samples. Yeah. But we have implementations for missiles and explosions with the helicopter, but it will it would maybe be too long for this first stream.
Yeah, let's keep it short. Like,
yeah,
let's assimilate all the information, and maybe
Yeah.
for another stream, if the chat wants, or
yeah. I think Morel, we can stop here,
Mhm.
and we'll update the script as we publish the next version of the beta.
yeah,
And we'll post videos, and the ones who have access to the beta will be able to like read the whole script with all the missile thing.
yeah,
It will be fun.
with explosion and
Yeah, but
and
like going through like
destruction.
ballistic thingies and stuff, it's not so hard. Just it takes a little more time to get there. The thing is as you what we do a lot is like we work on explosions in the script, and then you can just export this, like copy paste this function in another one. So we had this question about libraries at some point. That's where it will lead us, I guess.
Okay.
Going faster, like basically, it would be nice to be able to like import. I don't know, like Arthur.missile library, and I have got everything ready for this. Yeah, let's do it.
So with explosion, we're getting more and more GTA-like.
Yeah.
GTA-like.
Yeah. So that's it.
Okay. Do you have any more questions on the chat? On the chat.
Cute.
So I don't see any more questions. So
Yeah.
maybe we should.
I'll just show you a few things that just one thing that we use for the that we will certainly had in the script for explosions.
Okay.
We had I don't know. We had this other game, for example.
Copernicus is telling us, I really hope you will not have the same issues with Roblox about iOS apps validation from Apple team.
I hope we'll be fine. Yeah. Okay, I think that's the demo won't work. Maybe not in this version. Anyway, okay. I think that's time for, and that's great. It's like going back to the title screen. It's a good ending, I think. Yeah, I don't know if I asked like more about the iOS validation thingy. We're trying to follow all the guidelines, and we've been working on Apple on iOS. Like in the past with Gaten, we worked on, like, we published almost 10 different mobile applications, and we kind of know the process, so we should be okay.
Okay.
And yeah, maybe we'll have issues if we get bigger, fast, super fast, but that's kind of like a good problem to have. We'll see when we get there. Cool.
Okay. So well, have a good day, everybody, and
Thank you.
see
Thank
you
you
on the
for
Discord.
following.
And thank you.
Bye bye. See you around.
Bye.